Last time on
TripleBeppo Super Show.
Oh, I just remembered. I owe a bunch of people a lot of money. I'm stealing from you. I'm stealing from you. I'm stealing from you. I'm stealing from you.
Well, maybe you shouldn't buy things you can't afford. You realize that you don't need that much. Your lifestyle is so destructive. You and Chops are a freaking echo chamber.
Oh, shut up, Roach. Don't tell me how to, live my life, dude. You're not my mom.
Do I still need to do the intro? It's the TripleBeppo Super Show.
Okay, retard.
Hello, my connoisseurs of fine art. Welcome to Season 2 of TBMR, the second most requested comeback of a series on the channel, right behind Crystal Castles, before the band. Today we're covering an album that truly encompasses the feeling of being a 16-year-old delinquent alone in the dark, after having chugged an entire bottle of Robocough, containing a full 450 milligrams of dextromethorphan. This album has breakbeats, elements of harsh noise, droning noises, and bass that makes you want to go on an unsanctioned rampage through the streets of Neo-Tokyo. Welcome to Sewerslvts, Starving Sluts Always Get Their Fix. Please do not take that out of context. That's literally the album title. Now, let me get this out of the way. Yes, this album was taken down by the artist herself because Jvnko, aka Sewerslvt, no longer supports her old works, jokes, and motifs. This includes this album. I mean, yeah, I kinda get it. The album title alone is a little iffy in today's sociocultural landscape. I'm sorry though, Jvnko. I have to review this one.
You wanna know why? Fuck haters. They hate themselves, and that's why they hate on you.
This album is one of Sewerslvt's rarest albums, partially as a result of its takedown and partially because it's one of the few albums released prior to Sewerslvt's blow-up earlier in this year. This album is a lot harsher than her current works, and seems to encompass much darker themes as well, which is really saying something, because even her current albums center around themes of depression, suicide, and overall apathy. While less refined than her current works, there exists a certain level of skill/style present that's consistent throughout her discography thus far. It's quite interesting to see Jvnko's progression over the years. Whereas her current tracks are ethereal breakcore trance songs, the ones off of her earlier releases like this one seem to be more like ethereal power electronic breakcore songs, with a bit of harsh noise influence to top it off. Yeah, it's a body of work that's pretty hard to describe, so let's just get into the song by song.
What am I watching?
I'll rip your head off and shit down your neck. Hoocha!
Song 1, Starving Slut Overture, begins the album with deep, dark, distorted vocals. They echo and reverberate with silenced keyboard sounds, as though taking place in an empty room, or a room across the hall. Then, the metallic screech/droning noise/grinding noise begins, as a suitable introduction to the rest of the filth that is this album. This album is on the border of being classified as a noise album. After about 4 minutes and 30 seconds, a dull thudding bass begins. All in all, a journey of a song that really serves as a great introduction to the rest of the album.
Welcome to the world, little ones. Yeah, it's a lot to take in. But you come with open
Song 2, Little Ones, begins with terrifying vocalizations sampled from a feminist speech. Which honestly isn't something I'd ever think of being scary, but the out-of-key keyboards going along in the background, and the immediately following bass truly catches you off guard, and introduces you to the body of work and also mind of Sewerslvt in 2018. This bass, I might add, is absolutely some of the most grimy bass I can imagine. The next section of the song, accompanied by this grimy bass, sounds to me like being on PCP while being trapped in a large garbage compactor. Like that one scene from Toy Story 3, except you're a real human on a delirium, and not a toy, and you fear for your life as you inch closer and closer to the incinerator. As the breakbeat comes on, it feels like a desperate scramble for escape, and for your life. Song 3, Cold Steel, is bleak. Then it erupts into demonic chanting and a complete and utter mental breakdown. Imagine taking world-renowned breakcore/lollycore artist Goreshit and then putting him into a solitary confinement cell for 3 years. You let him out and immediately take him to a production setup and tell him to create something. This would be what comes out. Or at least, that's how I feel about the song. It's intoxicating. Honestly, one of the most energy-inducing and listenable songs on the album. This song sounds like a complete rampage, akin to Doom. Song 4, Lips, is a song which sounds initially like an elevator to purgatory, in a sense, within some indie RPG Maker Game Jolt game. I have no idea why, but it kinda makes me think of Pokemon Mystery Dungeon. Then, as to be expected from this album now, it devolves into nonsensical chaos as it leads into the next song. Song 5, Nowhere Past Oblivion, is an almost dancey breakcore song, at least compared to the others, that really feels like some of Sewerslvt's more modern work, but with a little twist. It has these constant synths over top of it that feel like a sort of haze. In terms of just raw atmosphere, this feels kind of like Stage 2 of Everywhere at the End of Time. But instead of being based around 1940s big band music, it's based around breakcore and Sewerslvt. This is probably what it'll be like for me when I'm 80 with my strange music tastes. In the retirement home talking about the bygone days of the TripleBeppo Super Show, to an elderly roach who's still asking me for more money. Unfortunately, I can't even tell Choops to keep her in check because she's passed away due to heart complications. Song 6, Pandora's Box, seems to be the people's favorite off of this album. Of course, I agree. This is definitely for good reason. It's one of the nicest works on the album. This song is a journey, a breakcore song that's somehow able to evoke deeply introspective thoughts in the minds of its listeners with an ethereal melody, despite having no words to guide it. Then, towards the end, breaking this all down with a nice ending segment. This is definitely one of my favorites, alongside the general populace's favorite off the album. Song 7, Private Life, is a song intentionally unpleasant to listen to. There's this constant ringing sound going on, with a slower but serious bass rhythm going on in the back. This song sounds like escaping a burning apartment complex, while similarly intoxicated off of dextromethorphan or some other dissociative. And the weird ending is when you finally succumb to smoke inhalation and die on the ground of your own apartment. If this is based off of your personal life, you have a weird personal life, Jvnko. However, it's also possible that I made this all up on the spot, and I'm completely reading too much into each and every synth and drum beat. Song 8, The Maw, is another grimy and aggressive breakcore song. I liked it. Not really much else to say. It's got a nice energy to it and all that. Song 9, Dopamine Rush, is a breakcore song akin to the euphoria of an amphetamine binge. Fast, fun, fiendish, makes you want more, terrifying at some points, and lasts much too long, longer than you expected it to. To top it all off, it even includes that moment at the end of regretful self-reflection as you're coming down from the energy of the song. The song is an absolute blast. It switches up its pacing often and keeps listeners on their toes. You will absolutely have a crazy trip with this song. I don't mean that you should do psychedelic drugs with this one. I really do not recommend that with this song. No, scratch that. You probably just shouldn't listen to this album on any sort of psych. Why would you even consider that? This album is terrifying. Song 10, the final song, Witness the Death, begins with a heavy rhythmic bass, coupled with some ethereal yet sullen vocalizations. The latter half of the song is an empty wasteland, with haunting string sections in the background and ghostly sounds. The way that this ends is like the antithesis of Everywhere at the End of Time's ending, in that Everywhere at the End of Time deprives you of any stimulus and brings you to your knees with a beautiful outburst. And this album gives you a big distorted blast of sensory overload for over 43 minutes, and then leaves you feeling empty as it snatches all of that sweet stimulus away. This is the feeling of returning to the melancholic normalcy of everyday life after having a roller coaster of a night. All in all, this album's pretty good, but I can say without a doubt that it is not Sewerslvt's best work. Evidently, this album serves as a vocalization of some intense feelings on behalf of the artist. Feelings that are relatable to anyone who's chugged a 300mg bottle of Robocough in their room alone at night, and then cried in the fetal position thinking about how disappointed their parents would be if they could see them right now. Not that that's relatable to me, alright, so yeah. This album has some good breakcore / power electronic tracks on it, and it utilizes noise to illustrate its motifs. I definitely appreciate this album for what it brings to the table, and it really shows how far Sewerslvt has come even within the scope of just a few years. It's not really a normal listening album, and I feel it has a limited appeal following one's first listen through. Some parts feel unrefined in a way, and it feels that some songs even fit a little too closely to the others on the album. But overall, it seems to carry over some of that brilliant style exhibited in some of Jvnko's other works. Alright, so all in all, I'm going to give this album, Sewerslvt's Starving Sluts Always Get Their Fix, a 7.3 out of 10, based solely off of my emotions, with no empirical or logical factors involved.
Bruh.
Thanks for watching. And as always, remember to...
Subscribe to make me feel better about my regrets.
I'd like to give a special thank you, a special little shout out to my patrons over at patreon.com, Cade and Mr. Freeze. Cade at the $25 aficionado of degeneracy tier, thank you so much. And Mr. Freeze at the $3 connoisseur of fine arts tier, thank you as well. I would like to thank you guys personally for buying weed for me. You guys are, as they say, real OGs. Now, anyways, I usually do a little channel update at the end of TBMRs. So, yeah. Basically, you've probably already seen this on Twitter or Discord, but this format, this whole general song-by-song overall rating, this entire format, it's just simply draining to me, to be honest. It was really difficult for me to, force myself through this, algorithmic way that I used to make videos, and I feel like I've put myself in a box. So, what to expect from future episodes of this season? Intros, as usual, will be, they'll be the classic intros. They'll be really stupid and meaningless and more plot-driven than last season. But the main content, the review itself, I think instead of doing an arbitrary song-by-song where I have to say something about each individual song as though it's a separate and unique thing, I think instead I want to focus on I want to focus in on central topics. With this one, I feel like I could have leaned more into the dichotomy of filth and cleanliness, or leaned into the everywhere at the end of time comparison even, or even just the emotions that this music is supposed to portray. I feel like by forcing myself into this bubble, after having been, I've gained a little experience over the course of the hiatus, I feel like I am robbing you guys of potential value. I feel like I could put out a much better, much more substantial video if I didn't force myself to do this. And, I don't have to. That's the thing about it. So, I'm sorry to all of the people who really loved this format. Don't worry, I will still be violating copyright laws. I will still be being the worst YouTuber possible. But at the same time, I'm going to be less algorithmic in my creation of videos. And I want every video to be as much of a banger as that last Sewerslvt video. And that's not a promise. Never mind, that's not a promise at all. I can't promise you nothing. You're subscribed to the worst channel on the internet. But yeah, anyways, thank you guys for 750 subscribers. I have no idea why so many of you are here, but I gotta say, as that number goes up, the more my internet social credit score and or power score goes up. The more people backing me, the more power I have to bully other people on the internet. The more power I have to guide a toxic mob against my enemies. So keep on subscribing, keep on doing what you're doing, and eventually, we'll be able to challenge the YouTube So just subscribe if you like my content, and to give money to my Patreon, guys. Do not challenge authority. Please do not challenge authority in my name, please. Please don't do it.